I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. We are now getting despicable responses from Donald Trump and members of the MAGA Republican Party in response to the E Jean Carroll verdict, where she was awarded $5 million and Donald Trump was indeed found liable. Let me pull up Donald Trump's response, and then I want to show you some of these other completely despicable responses by MAGA Republicans. Donald Trump wrote, "I have absolutely no idea who this woman is. The verdict is a disgrace, a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time." And by the way, Donald Trump likely just handed E Jean Carroll a new defamation case against him, and I would not be surprised if she filed a defamation lawsuit against him for statements just like this. Donald Trump then posted, "Very unfair trial." Again, Donald Trump wants to play the victim. He refused to show up to trial, had every opportunity to show up and testify. The judge afforded him way more opportunity than any other litigant, even when Donald Trump's own lawyer, Joe Tacopina, said that Donald Trump waived his right to testify. Yet here Donald Trump is whining and whining and whining. Here Donald Trump writes, "What else can you expect from a Trump-hating, Clinton-appointed judge who went out of his way to make sure that the result was as negative as it could possibly be, speaking to and in control of a jury from an anti-Trump area, which is probably the worst place in the U.S. for me to get a fair trial?" I mean, it is a basically incoherent statement by Donald Trump, though, attacking the judge, Judge Lewis Kaplan, a very well-respected federal judge who went out of his way to make sure that Donald Trump got a fair trial, even when Donald Trump fled the United States of America to go to Scotland and Ireland during his trial, and then claimed he wanted to confront E Jean Carroll after the evidence was completed. And the judge still said, "Look, we'll still give Donald Trump an opportunity to testify. Just let us know in a few days." And Donald Trump missed that deadline as well. Let's take a look at some of the responses by the MAGA Republicans. This is MAGA Republican Senator from Tennessee, Bill Hagerty, who dismisses Trump being found liable for the underlying claims. Play this clip.
I have you, Senator. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, former President Trump has been found liable for battery in an alleged 1996 attack on E Jean Carroll. The jury has ruled that he has to pay her $5 million. He's going to appeal, but this is the latest case. There are probably others. I'm just wondering whether you think that dings him as a potential presidential nominee for your party.
We've been watching this legal circus in Manhattan unfold. This is just the latest act in it. I don't think this is having an impact on the American public's viewpoint. I think the American public is very focused on what's happening to the real economy right now. Look at what happens at our border right now. We're about to lose Title 42. We're about to have another, increase in the crisis there. Look around the globe at the various crises that have been precipitated by this administration. I think that's where the focus of the American public is right now. And they're going to be looking for leadership to solve that. Joe Biden is not the one to deliver that leadership.
So someone like an Asa Hutchinson, the former Arkansas governor running for president, who says that the president should step down facing all of these legal battles. He was referring first and foremost, obviously, to this earlier case. I'm just wondering whether you agree that maybe another nominee wouldn't have as many burdens, whether justified or not.
No, Neil, I think we've seen President Trump under attack since before he became president. This has been going on for years, and he's been amazing in his ability to weather these sorts of attacks. The American public has been amazing in their support for him through all of it.
This is a clip of Ronna McDaniel, the chair of the RNC. She chairs the Republican National Committee, and when she was asked about the guilty verdict, she says, I don't think Americans really care about it. Play this clip.
We invited you to talk about the 2024 race and a number of aspects of what's going on right now. But your reaction to this decision by this jury here in New York City with regard to the current lead in the Republican Party for the nomination?
Well, we haven't heard from President Trump yet, so I don't want to get ahead of him. We have heard him prior to the verdict saying this is untrue. I imagine he'll say the same thing. I do think the American people, though, are going to be focused on what's happening at our southern border, what's happening with inflation, what's happening in their lives under the Biden administration. And that's where I think the focus is going to continue to be for people looking at 2024 and ahead.
And then in this next clip, Ronna McDaniel says that she doesn't think suburban women care about this at all. Play this clip.
I just wonder what you think about, whether or not, because one of the areas that is very important, obviously, to electing the next president is going to be the women's vote in a lot of suburban areas, in Philadelphia, in Michigan, in Wisconsin. And some people have suggested that this trial, coming on top of the hush money trial, may be a difficult hurdle for Donald Trump to get over electorally with those voters, with suburban women voters. What do you think about that, Ronna?
Well, I think we've got a long way until the primary process begins. We've got debates in August. As a suburban woman myself, I think a lot of women right now are looking at the Biden administration and saying our kids are still struggling in school. Our kids are being used as pawns in TikTok as China is gathering their data. We had 70,000 fentanyl deaths last year as Biden is not protecting our kids from that coming across our border. I think a lot of women are incredibly disappointed with the Biden administration, so they'll be looking at the Republican nominee, whoever that is, to put forward an opposing vision and one that's going to help suburban moms, suburban kids, and families across this country.
This is the weakest Speaker of the House in history, Kevin McCarthy, a complete and utter coward, always was, always will be. Kevin McCarthy, the coward. Play this clip when he's asked for his response.
Mr. Speaker, a jury just found Donald Trump liable of sexual abuse. Do you still support him?
You know what? I've been in this meeting. Let me find out what they say.
And then the MAGA Republican echo chambers, of course, want to have on their guests to try to spin this as something positive. First, let me show you, this is a guest who was on Fox, and this is what Fox is platforming. And the guest on Fox says that this is a victory. This should be viewed as a victory for Donald Trump. Play this clip.
Probably just the opposite, Martha. As a lawyer for 30 plus years, this woman went around on media, left-wing media, and said she was raped. With the lowest standard of evidence, preponderance of evidence, the jury said, no, that's not true. We do not believe you. That's a major concession, and she lost on her biggest claim, the rape charge. She lost with the preponderance of evidence, lowest standard. I would submit to you, Martha, that Trump supporters are looking at this case as another witch hunt. The totality of all the civil criminal cases against Donald Trump, for one reason only. They don't want this man to run for president. They don't want him to run. And I would submit to you that all this does is enhance his chances of winning in 2024. The Washington Post poll, the fact that Black Americans who supported Biden in the past are now deserting him and moving to the Trump camp. Why? Because I'll submit to you that people are suffering and hurting this country under the Biden administration. And the Biden administration has been disastrous economically and on a national security level. Trump is going to appeal this case, Martha. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be resolved. But if anyone honestly believes this is going to stop President Trump from running for office, you're wrong. If anyone honestly believes...
Now turning to Newsmax, this is their guest, Dick Morris, who goes... Trump should defame her more now. That's what Trump should do. That's their expert opinion. More defamation. This is the new modern day MAGA Republican Party, y'all. Play this clip.
Well, not a question. I think that, look, all of these cases boil down to Donald Trump versus the accuser. And in this case, it's a zero-sum game. And what Trump needs to do is to defame her a little bit more. He needs to go after her and say this happened so long ago. She waited to bring the charges. She only talked about it after she got a $70,000 book advance. And then to add the other ingredient that this is a likely all Democratic jury. We don't know that because we don't have the names of the jurors. But it's in New York where 87% of the voters backed Biden over Trump. And I think it's a combination of running against the victim and running against the jury pool.
Is there a constitutional issue in this, Alan? Because what I'm wondering is that this is appealed. It can only keep going if there's a constitutional issue. It can go up to a certain point.
Several constitutional issues.
And finally, this is the press conference that Joe Takapina was in at the end after he lost the trial. And you can hear what someone is screaming at him. But if you can't hear it, the protester screams, "You are a effing Neanderthal, Joe Takapina." Here, play this clip.
They found him not liable for
fucking Neanderthal. You're a fucking Neanderthal. What do you make of the fact that you
All right,
By the way, Donald Trump also put out this incredibly long statement filled with just so much disinformation, and it's so long that I'm not even going to read it to you, but I'll just show you it on the screen. And again, it's more disinformation and it's more defamation against E Jean Carroll. And so here it says, the E Jean Carroll case is part of a Democratic vast campaign against Donald Trump. And it goes on to say, it just spreads all of this, I'm not even going to say it because it's just so obnoxious, defaming her. But by the way, she now has new defamation claims against Donald Trump. So another defamation case she has. By the way, she still has another defamation case also based on when Donald Trump was in office that she'll be able to bring against Donald Trump. That's set for trial as well. And then I think she'll file a new defamation charge against him based on this conduct. Folks, justice is served, but I want you to also see the lawlessness of this modern day MAGA Republican Party, because in any other normal time, we should all objectively agree that when a jury rules 9-0, unanimous, a jury of our peers, a jury of Donald Trump's peers make this ruling, that is meaningful, that has an impact. But for the MAGA Republicans, they're all in on this stuff, again, because they don't support law and order. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe. We are on our way to 1.5 million subscribers. How about that? Hit subscribe. We'd really appreciate it if you're not a subscriber. Subscribe to this channel. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch as well. patreon.com/MeidasTouch, and wherever you get podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. Just search on your audio device for the MeidasTouch podcast. All right, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this, and have a great day.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.